Well, happy game day, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. We actually have the Eagles preseason game that starts in about 45 minutes. I'm probably going to watch it. I don't think I'm going to live stream it. The preseason is so painful, but I am going to watch some of it. I'm curious to see. I know they're not going to play their starters and stuff and things. And what happens to me is Eagle fans will descend and cuss me out when I say, well, here's what I've heard about the Eagles and things, that there's some problems that are going on and this, that, and the other. And, you don't know, you're just a hater, man. Okay, so I'm not going to be the one bringing bad news. Now, here's my thing. We've got Leo who's swearing that the Eagles are not only going to repeat, they're going to three-peat next year. And I keep bringing up the fact that it's hard to repeat for a multitude of reasons. People want your coaches, right? You lose coaches. You got players that say, hey, I want to get paid and become free agents. You get robbed. And, of course, you then get a target on your back because everybody wants a piece of the Super Bowl champion because beating you makes them look even better. And then there is the shorter off season because you've played more games, which means there's less time to go ahead and get your body healed and ready to go. And there's also the content factor. Everybody's patting you on the back and telling you how great you are and everything else, and you relax. Well, it seems like the Eagles are having a bunch of these issues. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Because I watched this morning because Dan Saleo was talking with Cobb, former linebacker for the Eagles, who happened to be going to the Cowboys training camp. He got invited out there. So, Dan was saying how Cobb said that, it's all going to be on Dak and the passing game looks really good. So I watched this section because it's literally called Behind Enemy Lines. So I was like, okay, let's see what he has to say about the Cowboys. They didn't talk about the Cowboys that much, but they really opened up the doors on problems with the Eagles. Big problems. Let's go to the tape and listen to this. Listen, I know it's Eagle talk, but you're going to love this.
Let me go here with you here now. Okay.
Yeah.
So Landon Dickerson gets hurt.
Yeah, I saw that.
And boy, I'll tell you what, we had Dr. Chow on with us, and I spoke to Dr. Chow again last night. He goes, I'd be very, very surprised if he played week 1. He just had the surgery yesterday. They waited for it. And the meniscus, as you know, Gary, it's not like ACL or MCL. You're kind of shaving it. It's the stuff on top of the knee. And so, it's the stuff that goes like this. I tell people it's the stuff right here. And you could actually play without a meniscus, but it's very painful. So, but still, all that being said, they got good news. But what does that mean? Because now you got Cam Jurgens with a back injury that is kind of still coming through it. You got Landon Dickerson. And then you've got, Tyler Steiner supposedly is having a really good camp. Are you concerned again a little bit about the health going into the season here? Because, if the passing game is struggling, you can't have that run game struggle.
Well, that's why, you mentioned Kevin Patullo. If that running game is not there, then a lot of it's going to fall on his back. It's on his shoulders to get that offense going. And with all of the young players that they have on the defensive side, they really can't afford for the offense to be struggling. They can't afford it. Look at all those young kids they got on defense. Unless they're going to go out there and just, hit the ground and just start dominating, which is a lot to ask when you got so many new guys. That there are teams that all offseason, they've been designing plays for their defense. So they're going to have a challenge in front of them. I just hope that that offensively, though, that they're there because they need them because, defensively, you got young players. It's like you get in a huddle and you look at young players. I'm telling their eyes tell them, that you don't see that surety and they need to get out. They're a little scared.
Cobb. Hey, G Cobb, is it a 3 technique or 1 technique? 3 technique or 1 technique? Hot.
Hey, a lot of times, you get up to the line of scrimmage and the kid is asking you, you going like, kid, what are you doing out here? You know, I mean, but that's part of it. When you got young players, man, young players make mistakes, and so I hope their offense is ready to carry them for a ways. They don't need to, just leave that defense out there where the defense has got to carry them. I don't think they're going to be ready for that.
How about
So
this, Gary? You tell me
yeah,
that. The opener, if Landon doesn't go, you'll have a new left guard,
yeah,
a new right guard, a new edge, a new defensive end, a new first-time starter at linebacker, a first-time starter at corner, and a
yep.
first-time corner at safety. That's 7. I mean,
Wow.
you look at Howie here. I mean, tell me where you think they upgraded this offseason with. I mean, look, Becton and Landon versus Tyler Steen and some dude named Tooth. You got an edge rusher with Jalix Hunt instead of Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
You got a defensive end in Morrow Jomo who's having a good camp instead of Milton. You've got Trotter instead of Dean.
Not my words.
At corner, whomever. There's 7 guys out there.
Yeah.
You had Slate and Isaiah.
Wow.
And at safety, you had CJ. Now, dude, Makuba, that Andrew Makuba guy got hurt in helmets and shorts.
I know. Well, the thing that you hope, some of their defensive line, the guys have looked promising, but that. Come on, you can't take that. That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So, I'm concerned. I tell you, I'm concerned, especially because I think they needed to lean on the offense to Landon to miss some time. They need Dickerson in there, man. Because he's the core side of that. Really, that left side of the line is supposed to be the strongest side. Him and Mailata, and you got all that size. I mean, both of them nearly 350 pounds. You want to pound people on that side. And now I don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully, I saw him walking and everything. You hope that it's not going to be long.
Well,
Hopefully,
I know it has to be good because he had 2 coolers of beers and Miller Lights. So if you're carrying 2 coolers of Miller Lights for everybody, I mean, I have to think that you're pretty good here. But again, I mean, Gary, is it the short off season because you go so far, you win the Super Bowl? It just seems now that all the things that people were saying and you and I were saying about the replacements. I mean, I mean, can Vic do it again? In your opinion, this really comes down to can Vic do it again?
Well, I think it's they're going to need their best players to really step up. Like they are going to need. Of course, Saquon's got to play well, and you're going to need Jalen to have a big year. A.J. Brown and Devontae and all those guys are going to need to have great seasons. That's ultimately what it's going to come down to. And I think, I believe in those guys. I think they're capable of taking over a game and doing whatever they need to do, until their defense, give those kids a chance to grow up over there. That's basically what the season's about. A lot like last year. Now they're not going to run the ball as much. I don't see how they could put much of the weight of the offense.
All right. So listen, this is not me. So don't send me your hate mail. Okay. Don't deal with the messenger. Deal with the message. Now here's one more person to back this up. Let me get this up here. Okay. Again. Don't deal with the messenger, deal with the message. This is Mia Coombs.
Obstacles do the Eagles have right now trying to get back to the Super Bowl?
I would say it's as much of a challenge for the front office as it is for the coaching staff and the players. A good team in a hard-capped league, you're going to lose players, and you got to be able to rebuild and reinforce and add depth. And something obviously the Eagles have been extraordinary at drafting. Can that continue? Because we all talked about this at the top. You are leaning on now your defensive line depth. That's probably the biggest question of the entire roster, right? Can some of those young players who looked good in smaller samples, particularly towards the end of the season, step up? And then I think offensively, it's less about drafting there, although, there's a competition to guard, and more just about depth and injury. These Eagles have played a lot of football. And while the Eagles offense is tremendous and obviously it's like an all-star team, it's not deep at a few positions. And I think that would be the biggest challenge to me is if you lose an AJ or a Lane Johnson are probably the two players I would put at the top where you start to worry about the depth behind them.
What type of obstacles do the Eagles have right now?
All right. So something I said, if I said all of those things, y'all would vilify me. Actually, you're going to vilify me anyway. But it's okay. It's all right, okay? Just be cool. So the Eagles have some problems, some chinks in the armor. So we'll see what we're going to see. All right, good people, I will see you this evening. Peace out.